What's going on, my Digimon friends? It's been a while since I've uploaded a video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a deck that I had recently built but was not able to playtest due to our situation. So yeah, as you guys can see, it's a Sakuyamon deck profile, and I will show you guys what I run. And yeah, let's get right into it. So these are the Digimons that I run in my Sakuyamon deck. And rather than me going through them level by level, it's best if I show you guys everything right away, as it can get very confusing if I go through level by level by not telling you guys how the deck works on its own and the way how I built it to work. And I really like the whole Jogress route of this deck is because there are two reasons why. One is that it can also be independent from Sakuyamon, because there are often times where if you go for the generic build that you just run Tamers and you run the BT02 Rise Greymons, chances are you won't really see Sakuyamons as often, because you only run 4 copies of Sakuyamon, and that's the only megas you want to be running. If you run other megas, that's fine, but personally for me, I just want to be playing Sakuyamons at all costs. And if I run more option cards in this deck, my plugins are not going to have enough space to put in the deck. And the second reason is that I want to be having the inherent skills to be able to proc more often, such as Renamon's inherent skill to be able to gain a memory if I use a top cost 2 or a higher option card. And having that ways to just destroy my opponent really puts them off guard. As let's say that if I have an Aquilomon and any of these 3 champions, and if I just on play Aquilomon for 3 costs as own ability, similar to the starter Stingmon and XVmon, I can Jogress them into the Sylphimon and then pop something for 5k and it minuses 5k, which is really nice. And if I have Renamon in the inherents, I can basically use the plugin cards for free. This deck is really just about me trying to use plugins as often as possible, and for me to be able to proc Renamon's gain 1 memory skill. Really nice. And I also forgot to mention about the eggs, which I run 4 copies of. Pokemon skills this: if you use a cost 2 or a higher option card, you draw a card. It's similar to Renamon's skill, but instead of that, you draw a card from it instead. And yeah, the main concept of this deck is to be able to go against most of the matchups in the current format or the current meta. As armor release is really popular. Blast mode is very popular. Like most of these decks are just very popular. DVPers as well. For you to be able to go against them, you need some sort of ways to minus their DP so that some FX won't proc, like armor release. DP, like just very strong destruction, DP destructions while having their DP reduced is really nice too. Aquilamon's inherent skill is really nice, as it minuses 5k, and as Sakuyamon minuses 3k with for each option you use. And with the helps of the Rika Tamer, you get to minus a quite hefty of DP of your opponents' Digimons. And so yeah, but although I haven't really been able to play as much games, but I believe this is probably the best build I can come up with Sakuyamon at the moment. And these are all the Tamers and option cards that I run in the deck. I run 4 copies of Rikas, as I want to see them as often as possible. That's why I run 4 of them. I run TKs is for me to be able to fetch anything that I need from security. Like I said earlier, that a lot of Sakuyamon players struggle to see Sakuyamon as often as they can, as they want, and as I mentioned earlier about the struggle of this deck is not to be able to see Sakuyamons as often. So TK would possibly be able to help me solve that problem by me on playing it and just look through my security. Hopefully that Sakuyamon, at least a copy of Sakuyamon, will be there. And the plugin ratios are, I'm not gonna say it's weird, but because every player, every deck has their own ways of ratios. I run 3 copies of the Super Mega plugin S, 4 copies of the High Speed plugin D, and Attack plugin A. And a copy of that, because I want as much jamming and as much, like, I want to poke my opponent's security as much as possible. As this deck is a Jogress deck, everything that's once per turn is resetted, but however it does not carry buffs. So let's say that if I were to give this to my Aquilomon in a scenario, and I swing with it, I jam and I Jogress with the Aquilomon, to another Digimon and go into Sylphimon, the effect of jamming or the effect of this option card or the plugin is gone, because buffs don't carry in Jogress. But that doesn't really matter, because the idea of this deck is to be able to poke my opponent's security as much as possible, but in a more annoying way. And as you know, Jogress resets and Jogress is an active Digimon, so I could potentially attack for three times in a single turn and go to Sakuyamon by playing plugin S. It sounds very complicated, but when I start playing the deck, then later on you will notice how the deck works. I wish there was some sort of videos or some sort of like footage that I could show you on how this deck would work, but unfortunately we're in a very tough situation right now, so therefore we're not going to be able to do any of that until like probably next month. And I only run one copy of Attack Plugin D is because I don't really want to see my Digimons die to the first security check. It's a very good card to gamble, like to have that property of survival, but this deck is very safe and I want to be able to Jogress as much as I can, so therefore I want to be running plugin D, plugin S, and plugin Ds. You can still run I can still choose not to run this, but I just like the idea of having one of the deck, so therefore that's really it for the Tamer and option cards. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my Sakuyamon deck profile. I know it's a bit too much to take in at first, and I wish I was able to show you guys on how the deck would work, and that I really wish I had footage, but unfortunately due to the circumstances of right now on COVID, we're not able to meet up and play anymore. It might take a few months for it to kind of calm down, but for now we just have to stay indoors as much as we can. And I hope you guys stay safe as well wherever you guys are, because we're all Digidestined, we're all connected, and I really hope that you guys really enjoy this deck profile. And I really wish I could play this TCG very soon. And that's it for my deck profile, I guess. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel, and I will see you guys very soon. Take care, stay safe, peace.